Okay, welcome to tonight's chart focus. I'm going to get straight into it, try and get through as many charts as I can. I'm going to really try and keep this under about 7 or 8 minutes with a bit of luck. Again, heaps of charts come up on the price and volume scans tonight. I haven't had half a chance to go through all of them, but thought I'd feature a few that have either come up in our live chat today or have been mentioned on the forum already. First one here is FKP. Mentioned on the break of this little consolidation here. Maybe we go to an hourly, we might see it a little bit better. Okay, so quite obvious downtrend on the hourly. Started to round, some consolidation here for a week or so. Really obvious entry there at 55. Set your alert at 55, 54 and a half if you want to be alerted early. There's a break. Like to see some volume kick in on the break, which it really hasn't so much yet, but so far it looks pretty good. If you wanted to give this a little room, obviously leave your stop for under here, position size from there. Wanted to be a little bit more aggressive with your stops, I'd probably look at this range from 52 to 55, and I wouldn't want to see it come more than halfway back into that range. So even, maybe at 53 if you wanted a tighter stop. But as I said, it's looking good so far. We could try throwing a couple of indicators on there just to give some potential targets. So this is a 12-month daily. Let's throw the fibs on here for a start. Okay, so I'll run from here to here for a start. See if it, look at that, it actually bounced around the 50, then dipped, held at the 38 before it dipped again. So the fib looks like it's held, it's been relatively true to form there. So we'll run from here to here, assuming this is the bottom. Get a few more targets. It's getting a bit messy here, but this same 50 line, which was support, could prove resistance. So you're looking at around 60 cents for a start. Probably where I'd first look, I reckon around the 60 mark. From then on, obviously 62, and let me get rid of a couple of those. It's just getting way too messy. Okay, 61's the next one. Not a lot there. I might even try some pitchforks on this one. So let's say we run the fork from a bottom, which we'll call there. The top, we'll pick that one, and a bottom. That may well be the channel we're looking to run in now. Obviously it's hovered around this line here. If it breaks in, we may be looking to hit this midline here, which could give us a 62 or something. It'd be great if we could respect that channel there, but we'll see what happens in the future. Okay, Billabong next. It's a Billabong chart. Obviously still in a fairly steep downtrend, but a little bit of sideways action here. Gapped up on that takeover news, and now it's sort of still in a sideways range, but did have a swing of sorts today. A little increase in volume. Again, I think maybe we'll go to an hourly chart. Entered on the swing on the break of this hourly downtrend here. I'll pull this up and I can maybe put a downtrend on it. Okay, so entered on that break, which is pretty obvious and pretty simple entry. A break of that little 280 resistance. Did break and fell back into the range yesterday, broke today and kicked on, so there was a good 10 cents in that break. Hasn't been able to kick on since though, so that would be the key for me. Obviously I've already sold half of this position, took a fairly scalpy view of it. We'll wait and see what happens. On the hourly you can see it did have a little bit of volume there, so yeah, so that's encouraging, but obviously needs to break this little tight range down and kick on from there. Right, let's have a look at a few rare earth plays that are in focus today. This is ALK. So this is the hourly first. Was making a series of higher lows here, so a little bit of an uptrend. Spiked up and off today. We'll go back to that end of day chart. Okay, so broke this sort of the tightish range with quite a big candle here, and testing this really key res now on really decent volume. So obviously a break of that would possibly see some decent upside. Has broken this downtrend here. As I said on last night's video, I really like to keep these things pretty simple. Some really good February and March. I've seen some fairly decent volume, especially here on this rise, here on that rise, and again on this rise. So a quick look at that suggests to me that all the volume is on the up bars, and then there's reducing volume on the corrections, which is exactly what we want to look for. So that one's on pretty high alert for me. I'm actually not in that one as yet. Let's whack some fibs on this one. Let's see what we can find. So we run fibs from the entire range. Gives us a first target of around that 155.60, which picks up some of this support through here as well. So that's fair enough looking range if this thing can kick on. Also picks up this support here, which again could prove resistance on the way back up. Okay, so that's ALK. ARU's another rare earth play. There's a daily tight range for a month or so. Looks set to break that range, and a couple of increasing bars. So let's have a look. That is 32.5. No, it looks like 34.5. So it's high. Closed today at 34.5. So right on this res here. Still hasn't broken this hourly daily downtrend line there, and obviously hasn't broken the 200 moving average. See if the hourly can tell us any more. There's that consolidation we spoke of. It hasn't really broken that sideways movement yet, but a fair bit of volume in the last few days suggests it's a fair chance to do so. So again, another one on high alert. Okay, next we'll have a look at, we'll go one more rare earth. Let's have a look at GXY. We'll go to the end of the day. Oh, that's GC, where I wondered why that looked like not a very eventful chart at all. Okay, GXY. First things that stand out there is a bit of a triangle going on, so let's put some trend lines on this. These are pretty rough, but I'll just squeeze them in here. Pretty obvious triangle starting to form here. Bit of an equilateral triangle. Technicians will tell you the height of the triangle is the height of the breakout. So we could have continued this all the way back here and take this as the height of the triangle. A little bit more conservative, I suppose, would be to take this, which is still a good 10, 20, maybe 25 cent target. So if it does break, say the 90, you could even be looking up here around the $10, $15, something like that. So some decent targets in this if it does break, but some obvious res as well in the meantime. Just trying to knock off some of these little areas of resistance of that triangle. So this is the first one we need to worry about, which is 89, 91, 92. But a break of that trend line, I'd probably be pretty happy entering that on a break of that 89 there, obviously with a relevant stop in place. Yeah, so that's another one on watch. Alright, I'm going to do one more, I think, and that'll do us. And I'll do Oakton, one I've mentioned a couple of times in Hip Chat today. Okay, so again, that's a daily, fairly nasty downtrend in play. Looks to be consolidating a little bit. Did actually try to bounce there. Failed. I think that would have been on its report, on its half yearly. So they weren't really sure whether they liked their half yearly or didn't like it. That was on the 14th of Feb, which was on the dump day. So it actually ran in anticipation of that report. They decided they didn't like it, and now it looks like they're unsure. But a bit of volume kicking in there, and certainly a bit of volume creeping in the last couple of days, but still hasn't really broken this downtrend. But that volume suggests, and this uncertainty suggests to me, it's certainly one worth watching, and definitely a lot of upside with a downtrend like that. Alright, that'll do me for now. I'll try and get another one done either later on tonight or tomorrow. Thanks.